Welcome to today's edition of Where Should You Do Business?
Today we will be talking about the best country to do business with, New Zealand.
But first, let's head over to our correspondents to find out a little more about New Zealand's population.
Hello, my name is Ina and this is Olivia. We are here today to talk about facts on New Zealand population. First off, they have an astounding 99% literacy rate. This signifies an extremely well-educated society in which almost everyone has completed at least 19 years of schooling. Furthermore, this is directly related to the fact that less than 1% of people are under the poverty line, meaning that almost all of the population is lower middle to higher middle class, with a low income gap. Most of the population is centered Auckland, Hamilton, Wellington, and Christchurch, being highly multicultural with about 20% of kids being of mixed ethnic groups. The major cultures are various types of European, Maori, and Asian. However, 91.2% of the population speak English.
Wow, those are some interesting facts about New Zealand's population.
But now, let's find out about the strength of New Zealand's economy.
I'm so glad you asked. New Zealand's economy is one of the strongest ones out there. Very true. Of the 33 countries in the OECD, it was the 7th least affected member by the financial crisis of 2008. It has experienced 1.6% GDP growth from 2009 to 2010, and its recovery was led by highly demanded exports by China and Australia. Today, the strength of the economy is continuously witnessed, as employment rate continues to grow by about 1.1%. Furthermore, inflation rates continue to grow to about 4%, and the price of commodities are reaching record highs. And might I mention that due to the extremely successful agricultural sector, the economic growth is exceeding expectations. However, successful growth is also attributed to the extremely successful free market, held together by a strong foundation and robust protection of economic rights.
And lastly, let's talk about the business similarities and differences between New Zealand and Canada.
Business culture is very interesting. Canada and New Zealand happen to have many similarities, but a few differences too. In terms of hefty cultural dimensions, Canada and New Zealand are very similar. They both are individualistic nations with low uncertainty avoidance. This means that both countries welcome change and innovation, and are full of independent members working towards personal success. Similarly, both New Zealand and Canada are found to be short-term oriented nations. Furthermore, both having high masculinity scores. This means that individuals in such nations look for quick success instead of future gain. Also, it means that society is based around competition and striving to be the best. Nevertheless, Canada appears to have a slightly higher power distance than New Zealand, focusing a little more on hierarchy and being more accepting on inequality. While New Zealand is centered more around followers as much as leaders, there is no hierarchy and everyone's contributions are important. Both New Zealand and Canada are monochronic, with the ideology that the best way to get things done is do them one at a time. Negotiation styles are also generally similar within businesses. Bargaining is commonly used where an offer is counter-offered with different conditions. On the whole, business culture is actually very similar, meaning that the transition from business in Canada to New Zealand isn't very hard. Back to you, and thanks for listening.
Now that you know all the need-to-know facts about New Zealand, let's really get down to business.
And find out why New Zealand has a competitive advantage to other countries, and why WL should consider doing business there. For starters, New Zealand has a booming economy in a state of expansion. There's increasing employment rate and yearly growing GDP.
New Zealand also has a very highly educated workforce, as the literacy rate is 99%.
Similar business, culture, and negotiation styles as Canada make it easy to do international business there, due to the fact that there's less business, product, and advertising changes that need to be made.
There are also few geographic areas that are highly populated, which makes doing business easier as there is a high success rate of establishing a business in one of 4 major cities.
The low uncertainty avoidance means that change and innovation is highly welcome, and new business and provisions are accepted. So New Zealand, as Canada, welcomes new ideas.
No area is more than 270 kilometers away from a body of water. Thus, there are many ports that are easily accessible in order for imports and exports to be transported to other countries.
The economy in New Zealand is a free market, thus business innovation is highly supported by the government. Furthermore, businesses have lots of freedom and can make their own decisions without government intervention.
Eco-friendly energy sources such as wind power and hydropower mean that businesses would leave smaller eco-footprints, which results in a better social image for them. New Zealand is one of the least carbon-emitting countries in the world.
Another advantage of doing business in New Zealand is that there are no significant barriers of entry.
New Zealand is part of 3 different trade organizations, meaning that they can trade with countries in Asia, Australia, and a few others tariff-free.
Furthermore, an abundance of natural resources such as wood, natural gas, and various stones, together with great climate conditions that don't restrict business, make New Zealand the perfect country to go international.